Hello, everyone. I am the CEO of the Battlefield Mars project. We are now live, and we are now, of course, releasing the. We had to do some modifications because we were working on it before, but it was supposed to go in the first of summer, but apparently we missed that time date. But we are now live, and it's now public on Steam, and we have a person that is on the screen here. He is the one of the workers that we hired for the Battlefield Mars project. Um, and also he was a play tester of one of our amazing feat. Um, so how do you think? Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing how we came from all this time um, with amazing technology that we just made. Um, he was explaining about amazing feat that we made of Battle for Mars, and we wanted to have as realistic gravity as possible on Mars, and we decided to have some balance with adamants, as we did tell about the past, and we wanted to make sure things were set. And we've been having some hard time. Uh, Problems, but we have fixed those things. He said something about a sending note. Really isn't that much important. He has to go. Um, so yeah, it's um finally um on Steam. I think I said that already, and it's been a few months since we started out. So we're gonna basically have a we are working on the gaming aspect, and we will be showing you some of the videos that we did of the trailers that we are making. They're still under development, and the campaigns are finally complete. There are still a little bit bugs in there, but we're being worked on. So we're out of beta, alpha. So we're finally released to the public. It is now officially released on Steam and Origin, and we will be working on more of the aspect of the game. It's more better, possibly. I think is well, to my perspective, is better than Battlefield 2042. But needless to say, we have a thing on Twitter that we have achieved. We've been working on some of the hardcore mode requires you to actually have oxygen. Um, so well, it's just a aspect of it. Um, so there are like five, no, there are at least 4 or 5 classes that we put in. We actually did some modifications. So we will be adding stuff to it, like new DLCs. Also for the Rebel DLC, we have officially put a price to at least cheaper price. You can get it maybe about like $5.99 US dollars for the Rebel DLC, and then for the War of the Worlds DLC, we put same price as the other one. Because of the crisis that's going around. So we made things a little bit cheaper um, for people to ask access. Um, it's a work in progress. Absolutely. Yes, that would definitely be amazing achievements on one of our worlds. Um, it's just we're working on aspect of this calamity. I have no idea. Um, so here are the features that we added. We added some of the areas on Mars, like let's see, we added a moon, not moon base. Sorry, we added three maps. We also have three deathmatch. That we have five capture the flags, um, which is amazing. We have but there'll also be more. If you have all the DLCs, you'll get a new map for Capture Flag called uh, Rising Sands. And this is for the Rebel DLC. And it's a Capture the Flag. And it's open out. It's pretty flat area and has some structures. But remember, admins can change how much it spawns. Or we made some modifications to the admin's powers. We can also take admin's powers away from admin. So, in case of there being toxic or admin abuse, report them and we will basically take them away, even though they pay money to basically run a server. So, you are not alone. However, there will be a vote, or I should say, a vote to kick the admin out. We call it the admin force admin quit. Admin cannot kick anybody that's in the vote. And it only lasts for about 3 minutes of a cooldown that we made. There are some changes of the elite classes. For example, the laser guy, we call him the laser guy. We made a little bit high resolution textures, new sounds, a bit more realistic. We also added a type of technique called sound wave enhancement. And basically, automatically, because Mars has a different atmosphere, we wanted to have guns to sound as what they would sound. So we talked to NASA, and they basically, obviously, they didn't want to. But we went to a university and we put weapons inside of a chamber that had Mars environment, and we would fire them and have a microphone and recording the sounds. However, because all the sounds are contained in that room, all the sounds would bounce off. So we had to modulate the sounds using reverb and delays into the frequencies to make sure it works in the game. So it would actually have realistic. So all sounds are actually less by if you were hearing them on Mars. And we also use and to make sure it's realistic, we also use the Perseverance recordings on Mars of the ambient sounds outside. Yes, they are real sounds that are you hearing on Mars from the Perseverance rover. If you don't know what it is, we don't want to explain because we don't only have that much time to explain of what we have achieved of the Battlefield Mars project. Um, Factions, there are the United States Space Force, the Russian Federation, the Chinese, Europe, and some other ones. And of course, the Rebels, which have the Rebel DLCs. There are another faction called the Rebels, and they can fight any of them. The admin can choose that they can be a civil war or not. And no, we don't have Ukraine. It's just Russia, just like the original Battlefield. We don't want to create any constraints, but you can always change. If you're on a server, you can always change, rebel versus rebel, US versus US. When I was playing Battlefield, I've seen those before. And it just like, oh, is this a civil war? you know? I bet you probably run across those. Especially Battlefield 4. It's just US versus US. Oh. Oh yeah, it's we also, because Battlefield 1 didn't have, we wanted to have the commander back. So we decided to add the commander in, and he can do things. Basically it's like a mitpotch of Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4. it's basically like that. We just smashed them together. Well, we didn't smash the games together because that would basically be like Battlefield for 2042. We also, I have a copy over here of Battlefield 2142, actually. Um, but I tried playing on here, but there's something about GameSpy, but I looked it up and GameSpy was turned off in 2013. I know I'm a bit outdated. Obviously, I'm not the developer of Battlefield Mars. I'm actually the narrator, and also we have a new type called the developer commentary. And I'm the only one that does the commentary of the developer commentary. So you can always try and hear my voice. You might, if you actually play Battlefield Mars and probably hear my voice, you'd be like, "Oh, that sounds very familiar," because it's actually me. I made all the voice and, of course, the analysis and the because of my knowledge of space, I did the helped out the people to make as realistic as possible. And Bird thinking, why are you wearing an S shirt? Well, it was the only thing that we could find. um, it's we're working on it still. We had it, but then some. Oh, there it is. Excuse me. So if you got Battlefield Mars before the release, we actually didn't. We because of the problems, if you purchase it before, you had no problem, because we released it today, um, and that in the first of spring. I keep saying summer, but it's actually spring. But because we have a delay of the Steam Deck, we'll be working on it, and users that have the Steam Deck will experience Battlefield Mars with full quality. And we're having some issues with it, so we will soon have Battlefield Mars and its progress, um, and we'll be working on it. And achievements. um, So here are the Easter eggs that we did put in the game. We have one that's my favorite, the Mars Phoenix Lander, and it's pretty easy to find. The Mars Phoenix Lander, well, it was in the North Pole of Mars, and it wasn't directly in the North Pole. It was actually like just around here, I think. And we realized that I told the people that were making, and I said, "Hey, I think I remembered that there was supposed to be a CD disc or a DVD disc that was on there." And they're like, "What? How? What?" Yeah, I'm like telling them, and then I'm like, "Wow, that's pretty interesting." And apparently, they put a disc on the lander. So in the game, you can actually break the glass or the plastic that is contained with it, and you can basically play with it. Uh, Not sexually. I don't mean that. I meant like put into somewhere. But yeah, like yeah, you take it out and you carry it around. Um, but for right now, it's blank, and not until somebody actually goes to Mars and actually reads that disc. It's probably something like like the golden disc around Voyager. Um, we have worked kind of hard. There are some bugs still. Yes, you wonderful people helped us report some bugs. You are amazing. And the people that get the reported bugs will be rewarded with a bunch of credits, or promotions, special dog tags, special armor, and basically some special happiness or something that makes you. And also because we decided, you know what? Someone told me, hey, how about just adding the freaking red panda? And I'm like, what? Are you crazy? And then they were like, oh my God, it was supposed to be a troll that they did, but apparently they liked it. The people liked it so much that we decided, hey, just put it in. It's red Mars and stuff. Like, okay. They put in a red panda in the game, and I'm like, okay. And when I saw it for myself, I'm like, oh, it's kind of cute. Um, and all of a sudden, it disappeared, but it didn't came back. But we won't tell you where it's at. You have to find it yourself. It's just we modeled it with someone on the team said that Red Panda, and they were at a zoo or something, and they were around them, and they used a scam model or something and put it in the game. The same technique for facial expressions and for textures. Uh, and I'm like, wow. It's just, I'll tell you one secret. It's in a cave and it's really hard to find. Um, but instead of just you looking at it, we gave you, you can have a special type of a dog tag, and you get a special weapon skin, and with the red panda. It's really beautiful. Red stripes. It is also nicknamed the yellow-footed rock wallaby because I'm like, it looks just like a yellow-footed rock wallaby, and they're like, okay, fine. And yes, there is one, and it's hidden somewhere, and it has the name with the wallaby right there. If you see it, it actually is right there. You don't miss it. It's in the dome one. It's called dome support. uh, it's in one of them. The game modes we have worked on are amazing. Some of the ones that you didn't like, so we basically put them on the side, and for people that really want to play with them. Game modes that you really liked was, well, of course, Conquest. Uh, and what the weird thing was called Card. Card is basically a game that your teams must grab a card. Basically, it's like capture the flag, but it's not Conquest. It's basically you grab a security card and you bring it towards a building, and your team has to get the card. It first starts to be white, and then if another player, like an enemy player, picks it up, it turns red, or if your team picks it up, it's blue. And when you basically take it back to your headquarters, you basically get a point. It's sort of like the game modes in Team Fortress Classic and the one in it's almost like the one in Team Fortress 2 with the called the ball thing, or I don't know what it's called. I forgot. It's a game mode that seemed like never made play. Um, but we will be talking about Battlefield Mars and the upcoming features. Well, I should say features that are in the game right now, and some of the teams' names will be acquired. And we will be talking about it tomorrow. And I'll see you guys in the next update. Goodbye.